My name is David Johns, and I'm the Executive Director of the National Black Justice Coalition. I'm recording this video to make sure that you are aware of the Equality Act. And my hope is that some of you who will hear this video are wondering, what is the Equality Act and why is it important for me to know about it? And if I do my job effectively, those two questions will be answered. It's incredibly important for me to start by acknowledging that the Equality Act builds upon important pieces of civil rights legislation, including seminal pieces of legislation that we celebrate associated with the modern civil rights movement and the marches on Washington in 63 and 65. And so to be clear, there were concerted efforts made by leaders at every level, made by incredibly diverse communities of people to ensure that there were federal protections that would reduce the rate at which some of us would be victims of bias and hate crimes and discrimination. And it is sadly the case that there is still work to be done. The Equality Act aims to provide clear and consistent federal protections for people who are too often discriminated against simply because of existing systems of privilege and oppression. And in particular, the bill makes clear, where there are questions, that women, the legislative term is on the basis of sex, should not be discriminated against or otherwise denied access to opportunities that are afforded to other people, again, on the basis of sex. The bill also provides clear and consistent federal protections for individuals on the basis of sexual identity, gender orientation, and gender expression. All of this is incredibly important because there are still too many instances on any given day where members of our community, where Americans, where citizens are discriminated against. And in too many states, there are legal protections that allow this discrimination to persist. For people who care incredibly about Black lives, for those who are engaged in the movement to ensure that all Black lives matter, it is important to care about the Equality Act because Black LGBTQIA+ people disproportionately live with other Black people. We are disproportionately concentrated in the South, in states where it is still legal to discriminate against people based on actual or perceived sexual identity, gender orientation, or expression. So to step back from the Equality Act and put this in context, last summer, the Supreme Court of the United States made a decision related to Title VII, which is employment law, which says that it is not legal for an employer to discriminate against someone based on actual or perceived sexual identity, gender orientation, or expression. I continue to say actual or perceived because often one does not have to be or identify as a member of the LGBTQIA+ community to be the victim of hate crimes or bias or the kinds of discrimination that too often occur. And so I want that to be understood, and that's the reason for my precision in language. And to the point about the Supreme Court decision and why the Equality Act is necessary, it is worth celebrating that now there are federal protections to discourage, to minimize the rate at which people are denied access to employment, something that is necessary for people to be able to access the American dream and to live happy, healthy, and whole. But it doesn't mean as much to have that federal protection when it is still legal to discriminate against people based on access to housing. Most employers require people to list an address on job applications, and that is often a barrier to employment. Similarly, what I know as a Black man, as a Black same-gender loving man, is that I have been profiled and I have been followed in stores. I believe that the myth that Black people will steal, which is ironic given that we built this country for free, cause people to follow me around stores. What I know is that employment protections mean very little if you cannot purchase the clothes that you need to show up and present well in a job interview, the politics of respectability notwithstanding. So my hope is that by offering this example, anyone who might be under the illusion that all of the work done to ensure that everyone has access to civil rights has been done, because it is not. There's still more work to do. And so much of the work that yet remains for us to do is included in the Equality Act. And so my hope is that you will follow and join NBJC in the effort to champion the bills once they are introduced in the House of Representatives as well as in the United States Senate. After the bills are introduced, they will need to move through each chamber, and the bill will need to be reconciled between the two chambers before they are passed in each respective chamber and then sent to the president's desk to be signed. And I say all of that to say that once the bills are introduced, there is still a considerable amount of work to be done. And what I know is that that work will not be done unless and until all of us implore our elected officials to act in ways that respond to the needs of our incredibly diverse country and to the needs of individuals like us who show up with beautiful intersectional identities. If you have any additional questions about the bill, about the process, visit us at NBJC on the Move. If there are things that you are wondering that we have not yet answered, let us know. We exist to find ways to help you show up, access your power, and show all the way out. And our hope is that we can do that and apply pressure to pass the Equality Act, which is critically important in ensuring that one day soon we can all be free. And that's the goal, for all of us to be free. Let's get free.